way. It's called Crowd Health, and it's changing how people pay for health care. Crowd Health is a community where members, the crowd, come together to help fund each other's medical expenses. Instead of paying huge monthly insurance premiums, you pay a simple membership fee plus a modest contribution to another member's medical bill. When you get hit with a big bill, the crowd steps in to help you fund it. Plus, you get the support and tools you need to navigate your health event. Why keep overpaying? Cut out the middleman, lower your monthly costs, and avoid the endless billing headaches. Are you ready for a smarter option? Go to joincrowdhealth.com. Right now, you can get started for just $99 per month for your first 3 months when you use code BREAKFREE at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health isn't insurance. Opt out of the flawed system and break free.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
3 TVs in Studio Xanadu, ABC, CBS, NBC. Not a one of them is talking about the fact we now know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the American government created a bioweapon and released it on the world. And none of them are covering it. Trump says. How long has the CIA been operating these institutions? Has it been since World War II or since George Bush figured it out? Somebody dig that guy up and throw him in a curb. We'll discuss that and so much more after news with Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Headed for a high temp near 76 this afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Expect an evening shower, otherwise warmer tomorrow. A veteran Chicago firefighter is dead after he was badly hurt during a training exercise on the city's north side. Fire officials say Stephen Decker was injured while training yesterday in the 6600 block of North Kedzie Avenue. Senators will go without pay if there is a future government shutdown.
2 long shutdowns in less than a year put financial strain on those federal employees working without pay. Like those employees, senators would get back pay when the shutdown's over and the checks restart. Louisiana Republican John Kennedy sponsored the bill. It takes effect November 4th, the day after the midterms.
Fox's Chris Foster, the Republican-led U.S. House Committee, calling on the leader of the Chicago Public Schools to testify before Congress. Education and Workforce Committee Chairman Tim Walberg subpoenaed CPS CEO Macwilling King to testify next month. Cubs and Sox start the Red Line Series tonight. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show. 560theanswer.com/store. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending the week sharply lower, Treasury yields hitting one-year highs, and oil prices spiking, reigniting inflation concerns. West Texas Intermediate crude topping $105 a barrel, up more than 10% this week and up around 57% since the start of the Iranian war. Most all of the 11 S&P 500 sectors were lower except for energy, while tech was the worst performer. Chip stocks also sold off, and Cerebras' stock fell 5% after shares of the AI chip developer rose 68% in its Wall Street debut on Thursday. The Dow winners, Microsoft, Salesforce, and Chevron. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, and NVIDIA. The Dow down 537 points. The Nasdaq lower by 410. S&P 500 down 93. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Shaun Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobridge Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Donley Auctions.
Protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, You get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Here he comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, 19 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook Road. Kennedy inbound is a crash at Irving Park on the entrance ramp. That travel time inbound, hour and 10. The outbound Kennedy, 1 hour to O'Hare. On the outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post Office to 390. Stevenson outbound, that is an hour due Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. Outbound Ryan 35, slowing in the express lanes, 35th out to Marquette, and heavy along the tri-state as well as to Saba Lakeshore Drive. We are seeing scattered delays along the Reagan going east and southbound 355. Fortunately, though, the other tollways are pretty light at this time. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins in Naperville. Easy to get off I-88 on Route 59 in Naperville. Family-owned integrity since 1981. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a few isolated thunderstorms possible with a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night we'll see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government with a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red,
inflation, oil, and war. Trump said. Now see, the moron that still thinks Joe Biden not only had and soiled his pants earlier that second, but won the election, doesn't care to think that he is being propagandized. But he clearly is. So do you blame the victim or do you blame the perpetrator? You absolutely blame both. You owe it to yourself, to a government who has been lying to the American people since World War II, and an entity that exists in spite of any change to any president. The permanent bureaucracy of the real string pullers in America.
He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
Well, I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities in the party.
Now, this pock-faced communist scum, not only fluent in the language of terrorism, but a Gus Hall communist supporter as he had hair when he was in college, admitted in his own biography. This communist became the CIA director. The CIA that we now know not only worked at the instruction and conjunction with Barack Obama. What exactly is your past? You grew up in Indonesia. You want everyone to believe you're a Chicagoan? Get the hell out of here, you traitorous bastard. You and your whore mother married to the Indonesian oil man. CIA asset way back when old man Bush was the president. You see, this is easy for me because I've been paying attention for years. I remember 1977. Frank Snepp, CIA operative, in a moment of clarity, understanding he had perpetrated treason. He confessed to exactly what happened in the Vietnam era.
You briefed the press, did you not, when you were there? Well, I had several jobs. One of my jobs was that of analyst. I also was an interrogator and indeed briefed the press when we, the CIA, wanted to circulate disinformation on a particular issue. Disinformation is not necessarily a lie. It may be a half-truth. And we would pick out a journalist. I would go do the briefing and hope that he would put the information in print. For instance, if we wanted to get across to the American public that the North Vietnamese were building up their force structure in South Vietnam, I would go to a journalist and advise him that in the past 6 months, X number of North Vietnamese forces had come down the Ho Chi Minh Trail system through southern Laos. Now, there is no way a journalist can check that information. So either he goes with the information or he doesn't, and ordinarily or usually the journalist would go with it because it looked like some kind of exclusive. And I would say our percentage planning that kind of data was 70 to 80%. The correspondents we targeted were those who had terrific influence, the most respected journalists in Saigon, like Robert Chaplin of the New Yorker magazine, Kai's Beach of the Los Angeles Times from time to time, and also he worked for the Chicago Daily News. Bud Merrick of U.S. News and World Report, Malcolm Brown of the New York Times, even Maynard Parker of Newsweek magazine. We would go after these gentlemen. I would be directed to cultivate them, to spend time with them at the Caravel Hotel or the Continental Hotel, to socialize with them, and slowly but surely to try to gain their confidence by dolloping out valid information which was true. And then I would drop into a conversation the data that we wanted to get across, which might not be true. One piece of data, for instance, that we managed to plan in the New Yorker magazine had to do with a supposed North Vietnamese effort in 1973 to develop airfields along the border of South Vietnam. The reason we wanted to plant this information was that we were trying to persuade the U.S. Congress that Saigon should continue to get a great deal of aid. And that the North Vietnamese were the chief violators of the ceasefire accord. That was printed in the New Yorker magazine under the byline of Robert Chaplin, as indeed was a great deal of such information which we tried to circulate. if I planted a piece of information with a reporter, I would ordinarily then try to create an environment in which he could not check the information. I would go to the British ambassador and brief him on the disinformation I had just given the reporter. So when the reporter wanted to cross-check what I'd told him with, say, the British ambassador, New Zealand ambassador, or what have you, he would get false confirmation, the same message coming back at him, and he'd say, aha, I've got proof that Frank Snepp told me the truth, when in fact, what he'd gotten was simply an echo of what I'd given him in the first place, via the British ambassador or other of our friendly diplomatic contacts. I am, as an ex-CIA agent, opposed to the disinformation activities in which I was involved. I admit that I was involved, and I think it serve no useful purpose.
Since then, and by the way, when we talk about this, and the reason I wanted you to hear this, 58,200 Americans were killed, 300,000 injured, changing the trajectory of this country forever. The trajectory of all of those families, 400,000 families. Everything changed. What could any one of them have been? All a CIA lie. All of it. What was the penalty? John Brennan was the penalty. They gained more power. George Bush Sr., more power. Barack Obama working in conjunction with the CIA to concoct a lie of Russian collusion with a real estate developer who had the support of the American people. It's a frickin' illusion, and this permanent bureaucracy runs everything. The biggest story, bar none, always gets squashed. Obama conspired. Not just the fact to make up his own history, of which is sketchy at best, linked to the CIA. Obama conspired with nefarious players in this country to undermine the people and the president. Treason. Everybody involved. And on top of that, they knew American government financed the greatest bioweapon released on the planet.
Dr. Fauci's role in the cover-up was intentional. Dr. Fauci influenced the analytical process and findings by leveraging his position to ensure the IC consulted with a conflicted list of curated subject matter experts, public health officials, and scientists. This included some of the authors of the paper, The Proximal Origin of SARS-CoV-2, and other public health experts who have been in his orbit for the last 20 plus years.
Right now, the Daily Caller, CIA spooks spied on Tulsi Gabbard's team as it probed the deep state investigation into the election theft of 2020. Listen, this is not radio. I don't give a rip about radio. This is a conspiracy to destroy the principles of our republic, and it is from within. They are not Democrats. They are traitors. This is not the Central Intelligence Agency. This is who runs the frickin' country. This is who steals the money. This is who, yesterday, has been allowing the cartels to distribute drugs in our country.
Sir, the Republicans are trying to blame you for the existence of a small air base at Mena, Arkansas. This base was set up by George Bush and Oliver North and the CIA to help the Iran-Contras, and they brought in plane load after plane load of cocaine there for sale in the United States. And then they took the money and bought weapons and took them back to the Contras, all of which was illegal, as you know, under the Bolin Act. But tell me, did they tell you that this had to be in existence because of national security?
Well, let me answer the question. No, they didn't tell me anything about it.
I mean, look at your country. Look at your country. The zombies that are used as weapons to steal the money from the decent. Look at the zombies. Where is the outrage and how it all got started? We have absolute unequivocal evidence. Evidence over evidence over evidence.
In 1982, cocaine trafficker Barry Seal set up one of the largest drug smuggling operations in the United States in Mena, Arkansas, under the approving eye of Governor Bill Clinton.
Barry Seal was a drug smuggler. Now, he tried to set it up in his home state of Louisiana, but they wouldn't let him. He had to come to a state that had a sleazy governor hooked on cocaine. There were $100 million a month in cocaine coming in and out of Mena, Arkansas. They had a problem. They were doing so much money in cocaine, 100 million. You create a problem in a little state like Arkansas. How do you clean $100 million?
1982.
For about 2 months, I watched accounts accumulate money. At the end of the month, they zero balanced. They're laundering drug money.
It could only happen with the government's hand. You think I'm going to tell you to vote for Republicans? Oh, vote for which one? Yogi Bear for governor, that moron, and the simpleton lieutenant governor who wants a high minimum wage? That going to fix the country? You want to fix the country? End the CIA. End it. It is not a central intelligence agency. It is the man behind the curtain. Only it's not one man. It's 1,000 communists. And the sickest part is they get pensions. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
AM 560, The Answer.
I mean, it's decades and decades. Scandal of scandal. You're talking about a bioweapon that changed the world. And they didn't know about it? They didn't know about it? Not only did they know about it, they worked on it.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yeah, but it put a bow on the bioweapon, covered up the bioweapon and the vaccine. Not to mention, Michelle is ugly, repulsive, dry heave. Woof! 8 years, boy, is she pretty. No.
But your conclusion is that changing from the scientific consensus of it being from a lab to a neutral position by the CIA was significantly influenced by Anthony Fauci?
It was significantly influenced by Anthony Fauci's injecting himself into the IC. And to go to the second part of your question about what happened, particularly during the 90-day study, we have documentation that shows that as of August 12th, the CIA was considering calling this a lab leak, August 12th of 2021. And then that changed on August 17th of 2021. Right. And unfortunately, because the CIA would not provide us documentation that we asked for, we have no idea why that changed. And that
Thousands and thousands of pages, this criminal organization, the Communist International Arena of scumbags. You're all scumbags. What do you think of that? Are you my guys? Oh, we're a secret agent. We're a spy. You're like American James Bond. I don't remember James Bond being a traitor. I think he believed in that fat-ass queen. But our CIA, I am very comfortable to say I could spot you 1,000 miles away. Like, for instance, let's say Congresswoman Cockeye Jayapal with that giant left eye. Look at me when I'm talking to you, whore. Seattle is falling apart. You're stepping in dung. You don't know if it's a Great Dane or just your average drug addict Democrat. She's got an idea, Squirrel.
Hey, everybody. I am super excited to say that my bill really recognizing the 3-year anniversary of this massive crisis in Sudan just passed in Foreign Affairs Committee on a bipartisan basis. I've worked really hard to draw attention to the worst humanitarian crisis we have on this earth.
Blah, blah, blah. $14 trillion. $14 trillion stolen from the American people since the year 2001. $14 trillion in all this bulldung. Sudan, you know Sudan, Squirrel. It's one of the 54 countries in Africa where they still have slavery today. All 54, they have slavery. Who's going to pay the frickin' reparations on that? And this money for Sudan, it's been going on for decades, and it's the same bulldung as Congresswoman Cockeye decided to spit out today. Humanitarian crisis. I know what the humanitarian crisis is. The Islamo-Nazis have been in control of it for 30-plus years. And to get more money in 2000, they said they were going to get rid of Sharia law. So now it's 99.9% of Sharia, killing the other Sharia, all in costumes. Nobody can tell a fracking difference. But this is how Barack Obama funded, in the name of aid to Sudan, terrorists. Oh, but it's true. 14 years ago.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Obviously, on a busy, as many of you know, there has been a long-standing humanitarian crisis there.
Pay attention, Squirrel. This is like watching Mozart play the piano, J.B. Pritzker eat a pizza, and Picasso create a sculpture. This is a silver-tongued con artist. Never did anything in his fracking life. You cannot find any history of employment or achievement. Complete ghost jobs. Not only could he sell this hope and change and yes, we can bulldung, he got people believing his stupid ass, who couldn't make a car payment on a Chrysler 300 known as a ghetto Bentley, was borrowing it from mob guys. He had the world believing he was going to lower your insurance payments $2,500 a year. Sure, it increased, $40,000 a year, but what's the difference? That silver-tongued devil was so good at lying, Squirrel. He had people looking at that ass face, Michelle, with those big giant feet, and they were calling her beautiful. I mean, it is something to behold, like Pritzker eating a dessert.
Prompted by displacement and genocide that has been taking place. There have been a series of negotiations
14 years
around resolving this crisis in Sudan. It has not gotten resolved and it is now worsened. Steps that we can take.
Almost verbatim what Congresswoman Kakai in her bipartisan bill.
Today in Sudan, where two armies are fighting against each other, and the United States has the power to stop this crisis by withholding.
Oh, sure we do. You mean we have the money? How about this? How about I don't give a rip what side wins? I'm just hoping casualties are high. And this is what the result was, Squirrel. You heard Obama 14 years ago? Let's fast forward to a little investigation. Hey, Barack, what happened to that money for Sudan? Where'd the money go?
The Obama administration knowingly gave U.S. taxpayer dollars to an al-Qaeda affiliate in Sudan. A joint I-24 News Middle East Forum investigation reveals the U.S. government gave money to a designated global terror entity placed on the U.S. sanctions list over its financial support for Osama bin Laden. The story begins in February 2014. The U.S. Agency for International Development authorizes a grant of nearly $750,000 to World Vision, a Christian charity. The mission? Humanitarian relief for displaced persons in Sudan's war-torn Blue Nile state. World Vision
the totals, Squirrel, are ridiculous. A little cheaper than Ukraine. But all because of that silver-tongued devil. Just think about it, Squirrel. He could sell anything. Lower your insurance premiums. Michelle Obama's pretty. He's heterosexual. And Rahm Emanuel's a tough guy. All bull dung. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that,
he's become an enemy of the state.
He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5407 to schedule a free consultation.
Don't miss Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn every Sunday from 11 to 12. Robert has a different way of looking at retirement from most financial advisors and is happy to share his ideas with you every week. So don't miss what he has to say on AM 560 The Answer. Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn, Sunday mornings from 11 to 12.
I'll tell you, it's interesting when we get ready for cigar night. I love the venue. Goldbert's Farm in Pingree Grove. It's absolutely fantastic. And I want everybody to come out there. The conversation is Proft, Alex Marlowe, who picked up the mantle of Breitbart, Andrew Breitbart. And look at what he's done with it. Great radio show, tremendous amounts of information. And in a world where our media is the Department of Agitation and Propaganda, it's very important that Andrew Breitbart and Breitbart stays where it is, because after all, Andrew Breitbart co-founded not just the Huffington Post, but the Drudge Report, which has become government operative rags. So I can't wait to have that discussion with Alex, Proft, and you. Check it all out for yourself, 560theanswer/cigar, 560theanswer.com/cigar, 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored in part by Liberty Cigar Company, Virago, Donley Auctions. Randy Donley will be there. And Gobert's Farm is fantastic. It's big. It's open air. You don't have to smoke to go, but please check it out for yourself and be there. And I hope the CIA sends somebody. Don't send your women. I'll spot them a mile away. They have no upper lip, and they look scary, dead eyes. Send that Jason Bourne guy. I want to see if I'm as good as I once was. 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments after news with Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. We're headed for a high of 76 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Expect a morning shower, otherwise partly sunny and breezy, with a high near 83 tomorrow. One man is dead, another seriously wounded. It happened in a shooting on Chicago's north side. Both were sent to a nearby hospital. One later died. The other remains in critical condition. President Trump returning to Washington today after visiting China this week. Trump telling Fox News that China said it would buy 200 planes from an American manufacturer.
It was sort of like a statement, but I think it was a commitment.
After the meeting, Trump saying China wants the Strait of Hormuz open as soon as possible. Mayor Brandon Johnson says, despite the Chicago public schools facing a huge budget deficit, he doesn't plan to close any schools. Cubs and White Sox start their Red Line series tonight. The news, a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows, limited commercials. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Next news at 5, continuous news, traffic, and weather updates at 560theanswer.com. Time now for the latest on the roads. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchek.
Going out on the Edens, 18 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook Road. The Kennedy is heavy going out, 50 minutes. Janeburn Interchange to O'Hare. Stop and go in the Express, Augusta to Montrose. On the outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post Office to 390. Accident reported right near the Tri-State. And the outbound side of the Stevenson, solid at 1 hour. Very heavy from the Ryan down to Pulaski. That is a roadwork delay, so it's an hour out to 355. Outbound side of the Ryan, 35 minutes. Downtown out to 95th. Tighten the express lanes, Pershing to Marquette. It's okay along the Skyway, jammed up outbound 57, though, Ryan down to Halsted. And you are seeing delays either way on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Tri-State just closed northbound 127th to Cicero. That is due to a car fire, hopefully reopening shortly, and scattered delays on the other tollways. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a chance of widely separated thunderstorms and a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sunshine, possibly interrupted by a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night we'll see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results. Done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com. And schedule your free in-home consultation today.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Hey, I'm Steve Wyatt, and I want to invite you to the Wyatt Matters Show, which airs every Sunday on this station. You can expect lively discussion and heartfelt reflection that will both entertain and inspire you. And if we do it right, maybe deliver some genuine laughter as well. We talk about not only what matters, but also why it matters.
Wyatt Matters. Sunday morning at 6 on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling your firearms? Get top dollar from national collectors. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
What happened to the moron? You know, I don't normally take the speed bumps of life called Democrats, but I was going to take that big mouth bimbo from Shirakistan, Neela. Honey Bunny said, where'd you come from? My mama. Woo! Came from your mama, huh? Wants to know why I pick on Michelle Obama. Because she's a scumbag. That's why I pick on her. What was her job? How many patronage jobs did that dog-faced whore have from the city of Chicago all the way up to the University of Chicago? How many? $300,000 a year. Not a one of them they earned. This is the kind of clout that makes me sick, and these are the scum that perpetrate it.
I thought Obama was all right, you know, kind of cold and impersonal, but okay, and I was happy to be helpful. But he's one of the more selfish people in politics on a one-on-one level, and he's not pure like the driven snow in the sense of his ethics or morality. And, you know, Tony Resco's the guy who bought this lot next to Obama's home. And one of the things I write about him...
Now, here's the thing. Blago's a big scum coward, too, because his wife, talk about another sweet Polly purebred, gangster's daughter. His wife was the real estate broker for Tony Resco, made the commission. And what they did at the closing, you can't do outside of a Democrat mafia area. They assembled the lots at the closing. Two different owners assembled them at the lots. But Chirac, with Neela from her mama, you love that dung. Because you're hoping you get one of these jobs, too. $300,000 Bigfoot made for the University of Chicago and the medical. What does she know about medicine? Please. And as far as ugly, let me tell you something, honey. Go to a dog park. You see a tail flipped up, and a sphincter looks prettier than her.
My book is that when I was governor first, and then Barack won in 2004, I was asked to make a phone call on behalf of Michelle Obama, because as soon as he won the Senate...
Now, who asked you? Hey, scumbag, you think you're Elvis Presley with that chipmunk face of yours. Did your father-in-law ask you? Little tiny dick Mel? Did he ask you? Was it another mafia guy? Who asked you, sissy?
Race. She wanted a job either at Northwestern University or the University of Chicago hospitals for $200,000 to $300,000 a year, the wife of the new senator. And I was asked, would you call? And
was she specific about how much she wanted?
Yeah. And
she was specific about salary?
Yeah. And I think Northwestern.
Hey, did you tell the guy at Northwestern, oh, you'll recognize her? You'll recognize her! The kids and the animals will be running in the other direction.
We should double check this, but I think my recollection is good. I think Northwestern was willing to pay $200,000 to hire her. This is the wife of the new U.S. senator, and federal money for, you know.
Now that costs the real people, the decent people. All costs. But you think Neela, her big fat derriere, and her mama too, you think they figured that out? You just want in on that, huh, Neela? That's why. Stay where you are. Fence the Democrat areas off. Keep them where they are. Don't ever leave, honey.
Medicaid and Medicare, things like that. And then they got a better offer at the University of Chicago, which is in Hyde Park, where they're from. $300,000.
No, they're from. He grew up in Indonesia, Mo. Can you find it on a map, chipmunk face? You and your moron brother, too. Two more idiots. Jim, Lake Como, Lake County.
Namaste, Shaun.
Namaste. Frickin' Democrats make me feel dirty. I need one of those Silkwood showers, even when they call. Red pig Chicago Democrats.
Well, you know, a Silkwood shower and Karen Bass veneer, those are two.
Oh my God, Karen Bennett. You know Karen Bass, what she did before she, the communist, before she got elected to mayor. She worked in the Viagra offices testing it, and that's how they know that stuff works. Go ahead. They are frickin' ugly, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely to look at. That's why you turn that picture upside down. the deal with Trump and Xi. You know, I was just hanging out at the Culvers in China with them, and this was after a night of clubbing.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that, you know, I kept on saying Harriet Hagman, you know, the Wyoming
I love her. Love her.
Yeah, I think she should be the next Supreme Court justice. What do you think?
I'd like to see her run for president. She's an Indian,
no
too.
kidding.
Not
Really?
Elizabeth
Right.
Warren, Irish Indian. She's a real Indian. Let's see all the Democrats. What are you going to say about her? Yeah.
You're right on. You're right on.
And she's more lovely than any of the Democrats. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Warren, you bear a striking resemblance to Chuck Connors. Sure you're an Indian just because he played Geronimo? Racist! Glenn in Orlando.
Shaun, I have some news here. The governor of, and this is no kidding, the governor of Colorado just commuted Tina Peters. She'll be out in June.
It's about time. You want to talk about a prisoner of war? A prisoner of
is
Tina Peters. You want to talk about railroaded? And by the way, this Obama, this fraud, all these scumbags, they're the ones who worked hand in glove with the Venezuelan socialists to steal the fracking election with those phony fracking machines and all this scum. I'm telling you, Glenn, you think I want to get along with you? You think we just got a couple of nuanced differences? You destroyed our healthcare system. You destroyed our debt. You destroyed the policies. You destroyed our republic. Are you my fracking friend? It's secession.
No.
Stay in the ghetto areas you already destroyed. Stay there. Fence off these rat bastards. They could call it the USSA. They're all fracking Soviets anyway, Glenn.
I can't be in the same room with these people, Shaun. No way.
Are you nuts? That's why the greatest advice I've ever given, in my opinion, was the guy that called yesterday, married to the Democrat. Leave her! Leave her out in the curb. She's probably old. They'll stay on the shelf long. George in Naperville.
Yes, Shaun, when Barack was a community organizer, did he ever get anything organized?
When he was a community organizer, he kept looking for Pete Silvestri in the Forest Preserve. Yeah, sure, you're heterosexual. I believe you. Scott, Willowbrook.
Hey, Shaun, I called a couple of times earlier this week, but I did fail to mention I wanted to just give my condolences to Rich's family. I wanted to make sure that I got that little nod in because, you know, the reality is a lot of us look forward to Rich calling in and talking to you. It's part of the show, and it's enjoyable. But
when I go through
secondly,
my phone, I have his picture where Honey Bunny, and I have to, I look for all this stuff. It's been a rough week looking at that picture, but I'm never going to delete it. But go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, something. Another thing that nobody's talking about, Obama's a complete failure for, and nobody has said a word about it yet. But he's been taking his stinky ass over there to England, UK, and getting with Starmer and putting all the bad ideas in his head.
I played it, Scott. I played it. He went to Canada too. He is undermining American foreign policy. Now, listen to me, Scott. When I do the show, they're traitors. He's a traitor.
He's a failure too, though. That's the thing. He's been going to UK doing this stuff, and they fell on their face with those ideas of his last week.
Brother, a failure doesn't get to add $18 trillion to the debt and get away with it. $18 trillion. The infrastructure, the NGOs, all of this is all orchestrated in conjunction with our American fraud entity, the CIA, and they are robbing, and they don't even rob our money. Our money's gone. They're running a bankruptcy. They're robbing the future's money in the form of debt. And he's got what? The cherry on the sundae, he bought Robin's Nest in Hawaii, that bust-out scumbag who used to get his car payment on his knees. That scumbag owns Robin's Nest. I've had enough. Columbus, Chris.
Hey, Shaun. Good to talk to you, buddy. You got me fired up yesterday when you played that clip around the election fraud, and I'll tell you why. Because a year and a half into the Trump administration, and nobody has gone to jail. We know there's fraud. I mean, you can look at Milwaukee. That lady was caught. Nobody has gone to jail.
But I'm going to tell you something. Well, first of all, you got to realize, Chris, and you know this. Come on, look at Chiraqistan. You can do whatever the freck you want. Daley's nephew killed a kid. Whatever the freck you want. You're good. So they've got their fiefdoms insulated, right? You saw the Chief Justice, that thumb that was talking about letting the criminals out on the streets and all that. You got to charge them federally. But you know who went to jail? You know who went to jail? And it's a pretty big notch because it also collapsed the government, was Maduro. You cannot talk election theft without talking about Venezuela, which is the CIA's play toy. Venezuela is the CIA cartel liaison. It isn't just Maduro that's the frickin' cartel member. It's the CIA. I mean, you don't just have to watch
Well, what
American
about
Made,
in the
which is a
US?
great movie.
What? But I mean, look at you've watched 2,000 Mules. You can find these people that were running around stuffing ballots. You can work your way up the chain. You can get to you ultimately are going to get to Soros and that whole group.
He's
Why
a
the
bit
Trump
player.
administration is in charge.
Well, because you know they're trying to dance around, which is what I cannot dance around. You want to know how you can identify them? They're a Democrat. Are you a Democrat? You're either a moron or you're a pirate. End of story. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $293. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasseless Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasseless.com.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
AM 560, The Answer.
Stop trying to put me in a good mood, squirrel. Speaking of Queens on the down low, implicated by Shaun P. Diddy Combs himself, who said that Hakeem Jeffries loved to go to those baby oil parties, but he insisted that an underage illegal alien boy be tied to a radiator with a Fidel Castro hat on and nothing else. I wish I was making it up, Squirrel. That's actually in the transcript. Look it up! Here he is. A man among illegal alien boys who are naked with a Fidel Castro hat on, and the leading congressional Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries. You judge for yourself, Squirrel. A little sugar in the tank, little bit.
We will beat the far-right extremists. We're going to win in November, and then we're going to crush their souls.
Did you ever ride naked in a limousine with Larry Sinclair and Barack Obama? Did you?
As opposed to doing what Republicans have done, which is to defund the police and rip away grant funding for local law enforcement. That's
And you want to know how stupid Nella, come from our mama, and the rest of these fracking Democrats are? They don't even know he was talking about the Democrat. But not only that, look at how you govern. Look at how you low-living rats govern your own areas.
Of 243 criminals who were on electric monitors like ankle bracelets. That includes 21 murderers and 13 attempted murderers.
Also known as CPS students. And society paid $33,000 a year so that those kids could learn to be degenerate scumbags that they are. Well, there are some that can read, Squirrel, and they get elected.
Well, follow-up tonight to our WGN Investigates report about questionable spending in a south suburb. For the first time, Calumet City's mayor is answering concerns about tens of thousands of dollars charged to his city credit card for meals as well as...
That's the other thing. This is why, Squirrel, there's a difference between making money and money. And they say it's not. Oh, that used to drive me nuts. Green, it's all green. Spends the same way anyway. No, it doesn't. See, when you make money, they could tax you. They could take you and rob you, but you made the money. All of these scum mayors, Dalton, Harvey, Cal City, I don't care where you go. Go out west. All of them. Bellwood, Berkeley. This is what they all do. City card. They don't buy their own fracking gas. Like Brandon Johnson could not buy the water for his family till he became a mayor. And he was already making money for nothing as a CPS teacher. Had no idea. Never made a dollar in their life, honestly. Like Rod Blagojevich. Like Rod Blagojevich's father-in-law. Like all of them. Penny Pritzker, name it. Never made the dollar. The guy who's busting his ass right now on a job site gets home and he opens up that fracking envelope and he sees that 50% went in the wind. That money that's left, when he goes home tonight and he buys a pizza for his family and they sit down and eat it, he's 1,000 times the man that Rod Blagojevich is. 1,000 times the man that this $2 whore, mayor of Cal City, lying through his fracking teeth in a $3,000 suit he can't spell the name of. Here he is. Take it away, dummy. Never bought a gallon of gas with his own money. Scum.
Travel. WGN's Angelica Sanchez asked him about those receipts.
Mayor Thaddeus Jones has refused to speak to us for weeks about his spending. Well, City Council now wants him.
And Thaddeus, Squirrel, he's a double pensioner, a double scum. He's a state rep. So when you pay for the meal that you never paid for, but you ate, do you decide, is my state rep campaign card going to charge it, or is my mayor card going to charge it? Because you ain't going to pay it. You're a bust out in a $3,000 suit, eating like a man. But you'll never be one.
To turn in receipts to prove that what he spent benefited taxpayers. Mayor Jones spoke with us and denies that he wasted any taxpayer money.
It benefits you. I mean, after all, you're not going to gain the weight from the dessert, the chocolate mousse, and the T-bone. But it's benefiting you. He eats at Gibson's, and you benefit. How fracking stupid do you have to be to buy that?
Money.
I'm not Tiffany Henry. I'm not a woman. I'm Thaddeus Jones. He disrespected me by trying to loop me in with Tiffany Henry.
Mayor Thaddeus Jones is displeased.
You're not half as talented as Tiffany Henry. That's the difference. She could sing, Squirrel. You see her dance? I'll tell you what. Little less clothing, a little darker light, you make some money on the pole. But Thaddeus, what the hell are you going to do if it ain't for a Democrat fiefdom? Huh, stupid?
With any comparison to other politicians caught in financial scandals.
Tiffany Henry was a bad elected official. I've been in office and I brought over $900 million back to my district.
That's an interesting comment. I brought over $900 million back to the district, which gets to show you how one one Democrat fiefdom cost the nation $900 million. And the simpletons, they keep voting for the thief. That's how you know you're in a Democrat area. Secession now. Fence them in and stop paying the light bill. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
When the seasons shift, you need a heating and cooling team you can trust to keep your home just right. That's where Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, the original, comes in. This family-owned gem has been a local favorite for more than 45 years, sending only their own top-notch, highly trained technicians to your door. Whether it's a quick repair, a full installation, or anything in between, their work is unmatched, and their customer service feels like family. Keeping you cozy in the winter and cool in the summer, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling delivers comfort you can count on. I've known Garrett and his family for years, and they are great friends of AM 560. Dial 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. Mention AM 560 and enjoy 20% off your first service call. Again, go to arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, but absolutely the best.
In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus with a message of perseverance, faith, and a shared global destiny.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before, since the book of Acts.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? What does the Bible say?
We have to become fighters in the Spirit for God. We don't accept what the enemy wants to do with our culture. We don't accept what he wants to do with the nation. If we keep fighting, we win.
Powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller, The Dragon's Prophecy, combines history and scripture with faith, justice, and renewal. The Dragon's Prophecy, a new film by Dinesh D'Souza, now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
Memorial Day savings are happening at the Home Depot. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select top brand appliances like Frigidaire. Plus, get free delivery. Upgrade your kitchen with a fridge with an extra large ice capacity, a stone-baked pizza oven, or a dishwasher offering an extra fast 50-minute normal wash cycle. Save on appliances this Memorial Day at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 14th through June 3rd. U.S. only. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more. See store online for details.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Squirrel, I'm so old I remember when mob guys were tough. Not like the upper echelon of the Teamsters now, those pussy willows. They couldn't operate without the corruption of government. Mark Mix is the president of the National Right to Work Committee. You know that in America? Because these Democrat mafia states are so crooked. You can't work unless you're in the union. Well, Mark Mix just won a big case against the meatheads. We'll talk about that and so much more after news with Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Expect a morning shower, otherwise partly sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high of 83. A Justice Department official says the U.S. plans to indict former Cuban President Raul Castro. The indictment is expected to deal with Cuba's shooting down of humanitarian assistance planes back in 1996. Iran's foreign minister saying after more than 2 months of conflict, the U.S. cannot hope to defeat Iran, but claims the Iranian regime is interested in genuine negotiations.
People actually have been the target of brutal sanctions imposed by the United States against us, but it didn't change our determination.
The foreign minister speaking from New Delhi on the sidelines of a meeting with representatives from BRICS nations. 3 were killed, 2 others critically injured in a Northwest Indiana crash on Friday morning. Hobart Fire responded to the crash, which involved a car and a semi on southbound Interstate 65 overnight. Sox and Cubs later on tonight. The news, the service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat and the latest from the Fox Business Network.
Knowing.
Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages tumbling as oil prices continued their climb, reigniting fears about inflation. Stocks selling off as 10-year Treasury yields hit one-year highs. Surging oil prices and rising bond yields are threatening to stall the AI rally. Oil prices continue to spike with no progress on the Iran talks. West Texas Intermediate crude topping $105 a barrel, up more than 10% this week. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell's term coming to an end on Friday, with Kevin Warsh taking the helm at the central bank with inflation concerns back in focus. Most all of the 11 S&P 500 sectors were lower except for energy, while tech was the worst performer. The Dow down 537 points, the Nasdaq lower by 410, S&P 500 down 93. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Shaun Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Firago, the immune enhancement cocktail.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Here he comes.
Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
It's very busy out there. 19 minutes on the outbound Edens to Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare. 50 minutes outbound Eisenhower 45, Post Office to Wolf, hour and 5. Out to 390 and 55 north, crash at Route 53. 3 lanes are taken out. Outbound Stevenson, solid from the Rhine to Pulaski with roadwork, 55 minutes out to 355. And the outbound side of the Ryan, that checks in at 35 minutes. On the Ford, crash inbound at 111th off to the shoulder. Car fire northbound Tri-State right near Cicero. And an accident eastbound Jane Addams at Barrington. Also one on the Reagan westbound at Route 59 and eastbound at Eola. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a few isolated thunderstorms possible with a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night we'll see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government with a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
It's interesting. I don't mind when people are united by ideas, by principles, by concepts. But that's not the way unions work in this country. And I say that not as a novice. I must have worked in 4 to 5 different unions. In fact, I was good at it. If I wanted to, I could have got myself another 250 pounds of blubber, perhaps a Buick Park Avenue, and been a business agent myself. But I like to look at myself in the mirror when I shave and brush my teeth. I couldn't do it because you shake down the very worker, shake down the company. And if you're real good at being a shakedown artist, you become a union for the municipality. And then you have to take out these sloth politicians, the Gibsons, and argue who's not going to pay the check because nobody pays the check. They don't have any money. Mark Mix knows this all too well. In fact, he is the president of the National Right to Work Committee, which is not only 2.8 million members strong, but how ridiculous in a country based on freedom that we have to argue whether you have the right to work or not, unless you belong to the La Cosa Nostra. Get the hell out of here. Mark Mix, how are you, handsome?
Shaun, I am doing well. I've been listening. You are as angry as I've heard you in a while. So let's go.
There's a
let's
couple
talk
of
about
moving.
this union thing.
There's a couple of moving parts. Number one, I love that I have to go back, to Illinois, and I hate it all at the same time, right? And I saw a Democrat today from Illinois in front of me cut me off. There's a lot of moving parts, and I had a moron Chicago Democrat call me and tell me that I'm wrong about Michelle Obama and the Obamas. So there's a lot of moving parts today, but yours is a bright spot because what you and your organization did is stand up against the greatest evil, and I don't mean the labor extortion mafias called unions. But you set a tone that could open the door for many, many people to do the exact same thing and say enough is enough when corrupt extortion mafias are financing baby murder. I love what you did. Now tell everybody what you did.
Yeah, Shaun, this was a case that went on for 9 years, and we finally got to the end of it on behalf of a Southwest Airlines flight attendant who had a unblemished employment record working for Southwest. She loved the airline. She loved Herb Kelleher and all the good things they were doing back then. But she had a problem with what the union was doing with the money that she had to pay as a condition of keeping her job. And the union turned around and spent money on a Planned Parenthood march in 2017 with the Pink Hats and all that stuff. And she sent a private message to the union official, the Transportation Worker Union Local 556 president, and said, this is exactly why I support a right to work bill and why I shouldn't be forced to pay dues, because you're using my money for causes I don't believe in. And so this private conversation got a little more aggressive back and forth. Finally, the union official went to the HR department at Southwest Airlines saying, this lady is harassing me, and this is the lady that has to go talk to the union official. Yeah, talk to the union official in order to talk to her employer. And Southwest Airlines fired Charlene. She came to us. We filed the lawsuit. We went to a district court. We went to a jury trial. She won a $5 million verdict. 9 years later, after appeals and all kinds of delays by the union and by the Southwest Airlines employer, she finally got a check for about $1 million about a week and a half ago. She got her job back, Shaun, but get this. In order to continue working, she still has to pay dues to the union that got her fired.
So this is exciting news, and I'll tell you why. I'm flying Southwest tomorrow. And where does she fly out of? I would love to meet her and have a conversation with her. And you know what's interesting about this? And I'm dead serious. First of all, how'd she get the guy's number? I'd love to know the inside and out, right? How do you get that guy's number? That's not your BA, right? It wasn't the BA. It was the head guy.
Yeah, actually, it was a private Facebook communication. That's what it was. Yep.
Oh, I was hoping for something more nefarious, where you get one of these half-assed gangsters who tries to leverage his position to get some girl to go to lunch with him, and it turns into an argument. And he takes this private conversation. This is the other thing I was telling before you came on. I told Squirrel. I remember when the labor extortion mafia had actual men in it that were tough rather than these pussy willows now. So he goes and tries to get her fired at HR. I hope there's repercussions on this sloth as well, or do you just sue the union in general and not the specific player? Does he still get that anonymity that all the gangsters rely on as they misappropriate funds?
Yeah. Well, we know who the union official is, and we sued the union and Southwest Airlines for this action. And obviously, we've still got a little more work to do. Charlene's gotten money and gotten compensation and got her job back. Yep. But there's still issues involved here, Shaun, to make sure that Southwest doesn't do this again. In fact, the district court judge basically sanctioned the company and the union, sanctioned the company and their lawyers because they withheld information, withheld witnesses. Discovery was a problem. Here's one of the things we learned in Discovery. The TWU, Transportation Worker Union boss, was saying something to another comment and publicly said, in an email, said, quote, "I wish I could give her a list of all the campaigns she has donated to in the last 17 years. Her head would explode." Yeah. That's part of the Discovery. Yeah, that's the politics of it. This argument had nothing to do with the shop floor, nothing to do with their workplace. It had everything to do with the radical agenda of organized labor and how they use that money that they can get as a condition of employment. They use it for causes like this that people disagree with.
Well, there's so many scandals with this criminal entity, this organization started by a racist by the name of Margaret Sanger. This group of baby murderers has been caught selling the body parts, has been caught fraudulently with the PPP loans. Have you heard of this recently? Did you hear this? They fraudulently took PPP loans. I mean, they're at the root of every financial scandal attached to government, and yet they still operate. Not only do they still operate, they thrive. But what I love about this case, and they thrive when Democrats are in office because they give them money and other people's money, like the unions. But what this really represents is that every union worker can do the same thing. Now you've set this precedent. I mean, how can you interpret it any different way? I mean, if I were a union worker and they were taking my money and paying these baby murdering scum at Planned Parenthood, I'd go bonkers myself. But now everybody can, right?
Yeah, that's right. They can do that. In the public sector, we won a Supreme Court case called Janus v. AFSCME. It came out of Illinois on behalf of a child financial services protector down in Springfield that protects every government worker from being paying union dues as a condition of employment. But in the private sector, there's still a problem. Charlene works under the Railway Labor Act, which is another labor law that covers airline employees and railroad employees, and they have compulsory forced unionism across the entire country. But Charlene and other employees, if you're listening to this and you want to know what your rights are, and if you think your union's using money for politics you disagree with, give us a call. We can help you too. And I think more people will, Shaun, and more people have. We have 298 active cases today, 298 active cases on behalf of employees that have had their rights violated like this.
It's truly astonishing in the year 2026 that this entity still exists, this extortion mafia as it sits. There is no need for a labor union today whatsoever. There is specifically no need in government where it really thrives because everybody isn't paying the cost of dealing with it. They negotiate against people that they bribe openly. They negotiate against people that never pay the cost of being shaken down, of overpaying. And it's really on behalf of all the taxpayers. It's the perfect system of mafia fraud. And you're in the year 2026. I have to tell you, Mark, I can't believe it still exists. And it could never really exist if the government stood for any real principles. As we go down the litany of, they're either giving your money to politicians you can't stomach and hate and would never give $1 to, or they're giving it to a group that if you have an IQ over 60, you understand they're killing babies. So I don't know how everybody doesn't jump on board. You could overwhelm the union itself, bankrupt these bastards. They'll get jobs at the casinos carrying the bags of money around.
Shaun, absolutely. And there are limited rights for workers. Unfortunately, this goes back to the 1930s. And Illinois is probably the best case study of the public sector union monopoly that goes on. You guys are on the fiscal precipice of default because of the power of organized labor when it comes to government, whether it be in the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois. California is right behind you. New York's there too. Illinois, Ohio's there probably. New Jersey. Those states are all in trouble because of this power of organized labor. And you're exactly right. They have this privilege that's unlike any other privilege that anybody else has to get in between us and elected officials, and it doesn't end well for the taxpayer. That's for sure.
Well, and I would not have a problem with it if it didn't have the strong arm, the regulation, the protection of government. I really wouldn't. Right. You want to be in a union? Yeah. Be in a union. You want to pay the dues? Pay the dues. I don't have a problem with it. Compete on the market. But see, the dirty little secret that nobody talks about, they cannot compete. They cannot thrive. And it's interesting because that doesn't mean you can't be in a union in a non-union state. I'm in Florida. There's buildings all over the building. They're union guys. And it's a different union. It doesn't have that air of corruption, that air of scandal that the government unions have. This is where the argument gets hazy because you have to have the perspective to understand the place where the real La Cosa Nostra of organized labor exists is in government. And that's the problem with it. I don't have a problem with the guys on the job site. By the way, I think they should have to compete openly. And if you want to pay more because you want the union bulldog, fine. But I still want someone to tell me what's the incentive for a union worker to produce better than the guy next to him. I have yet to hear an answer to that. It is about restricting productivity. It is about limiting achievement. It is about stringing jobs along and overbilling. And it's really a shame in the year 2026. It's one thing when it's 1875 and nobody can figure out what feather bedding is, but that's all it is feather bedding.
Yeah, Shaun, and that's the difference between compulsion and force and voluntary unionism. You articulated it well. I mean, if you want to join, go ahead. The federal government will protect that. The federal law protects that. If you want to associate with them, go ahead. But when you use force and coercion to get your way, you lose all type of accountability in a workplace, and that's why union officials can act the way they do. And they can say, look, you either pay us or you don't work. And that doesn't work for the worker. It doesn't work on the shop floor. It doesn't work in those states that allow it still in 2026. The states that have right to work laws in the private sector that protect people from being forced to pay union dues or fees, that's where they can hold union officials accountable for their political agenda, for their corruption, for those things by saying, hey, I'm voting with my pocketbook because I can. In states like Illinois and under the Railway Labor Act, where workers are compelled to pay dues or fees in order to get or keep a job, that accountability doesn't work. That competition doesn't work, and it doesn't operate, and that's why this monopoly is such a dangerous thing. And to your point, it's the most dangerous when it comes to government.
Well, and they can't survive without government. And that was the beauty of the illegitimate Biden administration. You want to talk about splashing the pot. You're talking trillions and trillions of dollars went to projects that should have never went to. The overpaying was absolutely astronomical when it came to services and kickbacks. And yet all the evidence here, and for some reason, they still exist as if, we're going to get the union hierarchy support. You take away the independence of the union worker himself, and you actually are offsetting in more cases than not who he actually supports. The union worker overwhelmingly supported Trump 3 times, and yet the union couldn't wait to kiss that wrinkled old ass and lowballs Joe. Couldn't wait. So that's the problem with it all. They made a fortune with him, too. A fortune.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how about the green energy, Mark? How about the green energy? You changed auto manufacturing in the country for nothing. You laid off tens of thousands of people for nothing. And now you're reversing it? What about all those people that paid all those dues all those years? And they thought they were going to be protected. And it goes to show you, only the upper echelon survives. All the real workers, you're out on the line, aren't you? You're out there, and you're on unemployment right now.
Yeah, that's right. That was an interesting segment in union history with the electric vehicles and 4 out of 10 UAW workers. And then there's the waste of taxpayer money, and it just gets better and better. And, Shaun, we've talked about this. They bailed out private union pensions. The Central State Pension Fund got $35 billion of taxpayer money to cover up the declining crisis in that pension because of the corruption and the misinvestment and all those things that happened. There's still $94 billion of taxpayer money bailed out private sector pension funds for unions during the Biden administration. There's still $20 billion left. We're not sure what Trump's going to do with it, but it's still out there. And I don't know if your pension fund is going to be bailed out by the taxpayers. I don't think it is, right?
Well, I don't have. First of all, I wouldn't have one. I handle myself. I don't want to be next to anybody, and I certainly don't want to rub my money with a Democrat. I don't even like banking unless I know they're all decent people. But when you look at the scandal of the money bundlers, when it comes to this idea that they are in fact stewards or investment advisors or keeping up with it, this is the time that the market has way overperformed. If you go back 16 years and you look at the market, you're talking about an average of what, 14% compounding? Compounding 14%. So in essence, if these money bundler rat bastards who give money to all their half-assed friends, right? If they actually did invest, if they would have bought Tesla, they would be more than funded. They don't even do their fracking job. They're not even keeping up the way a private company would or a private person would because they don't have to. In fact, they're almost incentivized to steal and misappropriate the money. That's why every 7 months it's another scandal of another union president caught acting like a man in a restaurant or a cigar store. I mean, ultimately, that's the way to go. The money bundlers who hold the pension, if you can't capitalize on 14% compounded growth for 16 years, you should be arrested, especially when you're handling money and investments for pensions. There is no excuse why any of these pensions can't keep up. The market has overperformed to the standards any hedge fund guy would be surprised by. The only one who spotted it was Ro Khanna, inside trading Congressman Hoare, made $170 million. Have him manage the fracking pensions.
Yeah. Well, Shaun, just to make you feel much better as we get ready to go, the Boilermakers president, Newton Jones, is on trial down in Kansas City, and here's the quote. He has been charged with making the union funds his personal piggy bank, embezzling millions that went towards salary and benefits of no-show jobs, extravagant international travel, fine dining, vacation payouts, and unauthorized loans. So he's on trial right now in Kansas City. He's going to be – but this is the story of forced unionism. This is the story of no accountability. This is the story of a power that was granted back in the 1930s that's got to be eliminated. Not unions eliminated. Voluntary unionism is fine, but force and coercion lead to corruption. There's no other result.
And, at least back in the old days, they wore Zanzibar pants. They were heterosexual. Now they're wearing women's clothing, and they're in a steam bath with Barack Obama and Alexei Janulius. Mark Mix, president of the National Right to Work Committee, thank you for always making time, brother.
Shaun, thank you, and stay angry, my friend.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal. But if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom. Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
Call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
You know, Squirrel, I got a great story, Squirrel. And it's about a union guy and capitalism, so it ties right into Alpha Wealth Group, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Down here at the cigar store, talking to a guy, we're talking about what everybody does. His father was a union carpenter. His whole life, a union carpenter, and they had a pension, and he could never get a straight answer at the pension. He was very nervous. And his father and mother had passed away, so the guy I'm talking to, his grandparents passed away. And they leave the father half of the house. At the time, it's like $105,000. So he gets the $105,000, and he's trying to call the union representative of what he should do. He wants to invest it in his pension. Well, it's 1996 or 7, and he's watching 60 Minutes, and he watches Jeff Bezos. And it's back then Amazon was just selling books. And he looks at it, and Jeff Bezos has a Honda Accord. And he could have any car at the time. He's already rich. And they ask him, well, why do you drive this Accord? He said, this is a perfectly good car. And the guy says, I don't care what that guy's doing. He's on 60 Minutes. He's frugal, and all he wants to do is grow his company. He called a private investment advisor, and he took all $105,000, and he bought Amazon stock shortly after the IPO. He is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Had he stuck with his union pension, he'd be whistling Dixie, depending on which local stole the money from him. You owe it to yourself, to your kids and your unborn grandkids, to be a steward over your retirement. The best guy, in my opinion, for that, bar none, is Tom Fortino and Alpha Wealth Group for 30 years. By the way, Squirrel, call Tom. We got to do a lunch. I got an idea. I love when I tell him that. He gets nervous. Call Tom Fortino, 630-864-6711. He can even instruct you how to hold the money for your grandkids when they're born with the Trump account, your great-grandkids, how to contribute to it, how to take advantage of, for the first time ever, a man who worked outside of government as the president. The big, beautiful bill is just getting started. Take advantage of it all, but you can't unless you call and you talk to somebody who knows. And all you have to do, 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Online, alphawealthgroup.com. And tomorrow morning, right here on AM 560, The Answer, Saturday at 9 a.m., Alpha Wealth Group Hour. Hear the conversation for yourself. Understanding every nuance of fundamental economics, of the power of taxation, confiscation, where you live, and how important it is to structure that retirement so your kids get it and not some illegal alien carrying fentanyl in a diaper bag. When we get back, 312-642-5600. Sam, Mitchell, Terry, Andrew. That'll be the lineup. If you're not a Democrat, call. If you're a Democrat, just walk around in a circle and try to figure out what day it is. We'll be back.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, expect a thunderstorm overnight, warmer, with a Saturday high near 80. A Justice Department official says the U.S. has plans to indict former Cuban President Raul Castro. The indictment stems from Cuba's shooting down of humanitarian assistance planes back in 1996. Iran's foreign minister saying after more than 2 months of conflict, the U.S. cannot hope to defeat Iran.
My country has been the target, our people actually have been the target of brutal sanctions imposed by the United States against us.
3 were killed, 2 others critically injured in a Northwest Indiana crash this morning. It happened along I-65 and involved a car and a semi. An investigation continues after a series of overnight break-ins at a strip mall in the north suburbs. 7 businesses were broken into. Cubs and Sox start their Red Line series tonight. Edward Cabrera against Shaun Burke. The News is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Your next news update comes your way at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Now in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchak.
It's 20 minutes going out to Lake Cook Road on the outbound Edens, the Kennedy, 50 minutes, Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare, and the outbound Eisenhower is an hour, post office to 390, but 55 northbound before Route 53, crash in the 3 right lane solid from 126. That's a mess. Stevenson out 50 out to 355. Outbound side of the Dan Ryan, give yourself a half hour. On DuSable Lakeshore Drive, that is jammed up both directions. Car fire northbound Tri-State at Cicero. And we're seeing a delay southbound as well with an accident at Westlake on the side. Eastbound Jane Addams, a crash at Barrington. Westbound Reagan, one at Route 59. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a chance of widely separated thunderstorms and a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sunshine, possibly interrupted by a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night will see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Got a large collection? We'll make it fit in your wallet. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we're going to go to the lines. Now, my honey bunny told me, no matter what, you have to take Sam in Elk Grove Village first. So when Honey Bunny makes the recommendation, that's exactly what we do. Sam, Elk Grove.
Oh, hi, Mr. Shaun.
How are you, Sam?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. What do you got going on, kid?
So as you, I live in Elk Grove, right? And we're run by a awful governor, J.D. Pritzker.
Yes, we are. Yes.
That fat ass.
Yeah.
I just want to call and tell you, I love what you're doing, and I don't know. I just want to call you
listen
and say,
to me. I'm so glad you called me. You made my night, and I want to tell you something, because I would tell you this if you were my grandson.
Sure.
All right? You're going to, all your life, people are going to tell you things. You listen to the little voice inside of you, and you only listen to people who are good. You don't listen to anybody who's bad. And anybody who is a failure and tries to give you advice, you tell him to shut his mouth. I don't care if he's a doctor, if he's a lawyer. I don't care who he is, if he knows your uncle. You only listen to good people, and you listen to yourself most of all. You judge every day, everybody, including you. And if you weren't good today, be better tomorrow. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, you be a good boy. Thank you for calling. I love it. Thank you. Mitchell in Des Plaines.
Well, Shaun, that was quite a heart moment, moving aspect on the radio that we never get to see a side of you. That's quite impressive, Daddy-O.
Thank you.
Yes. By the way, he did say something very good about the fat-ass governor that is useless and feckless. But
any kid that listens to this show is way ahead of your class, so go ahead.
You were talking about yesterday, obviously, the CIA person that was a former CIA that talked about disclosure of, obviously, that it was a biowarfare with COVID-19. And my whole point is that Fauci got a full pardon by the second double of Joe Biden for a reason. Okay? He gets a full pardon because what crime did he commit? I've asked you this before. Now we know for sure why it was.
Listen, we've laid out the evidence is very, very clear with the help and the front of EcoHealth Alliance, the NIH specifically at the direction of Fauci, and maybe more. Maybe Fauci was directed by CIA operatives. No matter what, we know that the American government financed the greatest bioweapon to be used on the planet. You know, it's bigger than America. The planet, forever changing the trajectory of the idea of representation, government, freedom, and liberty, and emboldening the most corrupt people around the world, politicians. So when it comes to the CIA, there is but one answer. And obviously there are good people in the CIA. Fine. Good for you. Reapply, because we're going to rip the CIA down. There is no such thing as Central Intelligence Agency, because every time you ask them, well, how come you didn't know about the election theft? We were busy. You don't know about the money in Somalia being fronted from policies going into Minnesota. We were busy. You didn't know about Barack Obama financing terrorism using Sudan as an excuse. We were busy. You didn't know about MENA, Arkansas, Venezuela, Central South America. You're busy. So then fire every one of these red pigs. And if you want to reapply, stand in the line with an IQ over 60. If you're a Democrat, communist asshat who's been operating as an operative of the CIA, get a lawyer, scumbag. Thank you very much for the call. Terry, Chirac.
Hey, Shaun, I personally knew journeyman electricians in the city that couldn't light a Christmas tree, carpenters and bricklayers that couldn't use a plumb line, and plumbers that couldn't thread a pipe. You know how many dummy unions are in the city of Chicago?
Well, first of all, and the guys who did know all those things busted their ass, right? And the guys you knew were directly connected to that simpleton family who half of them have a cork on their fork at Thanksgiving so they don't poke their own eye out, called the Dailies. I know who you knew. Andrew, Cherville, Indiana.
What did Hillary Clinton say when she was given a box of cookies that were shaped like the ex-president?
Does anybody have a can opener?
She said, I can't wait to eat a bush.
Oh, my word. Double entendre. Absolutely fantastic. I love a good double entendre. So no question about it. And by the way, talk about ugly. It's Chelsea. That's what happens, Squirrel, when you take two species that naturally were never going to procreate and you force mating. Next thing you know, you get a puggle. Lee, Orland Park.
Via and in Harlem, buddy. I want to give a shout out. I called it last year. I called it the year before. I just want, you're going to hear it here and where else. Tomorrow is Armed Forces Day. Everybody get their flags out, give a cheer, say thanks. That tomorrow is the day we thank everybody around the world and everywhere in the world serving in uniform. Hooray for all those guys and gals, okay?
Absolutely.
Tomorrow is the day. It's a forgotten day, but these are the people who we got to thank, okay?
All right, I agree with you, but listen.
Get their flags out.
I love this, but we got to have at least two acceptances. Are you ready for this? I want two acceptances.
Yes,
Benedict Arnold, rat traitor, bastard, veteran. And those Vindman twins, those freaky fat pig Vindman twins who helped corroborate the CIA lie and pretended that wrinkled-ass, low-balled Joe Biden was a president. Thank you very much, Lee. We got to have. And when Bill Clinton asked about the Duchess of Chaffington, how could you possibly put up with that inner thigh rash, Bill?
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
I believe you. That is the only woman in Washington, D.C. you never had sex with. You couldn't get Huma out of the way. Robert Bloomingdale.
Shaun, how you doing tonight?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Here's my opinion on unions.
I've been waiting. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get ready now. Like I'm eating. Wait a minute. Let me undo my button. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I got pants on, too. But Illinois has a law where you can option out of the union. So if you're dissatisfied with the union, you should be able to drop out of the union. And I think I urge people to write their congressperson and tell them that you want such a bill passed nationally. So if you want to drop out of a union because it's no good, that's your opinion.
And the reason Illinois has that law is Mark Mix. Yeah. Mark Mix and the organization that he represents is the one who sued on behalf of Janus way back when, and that is the reason. So Illinois didn't have the law. The mafia scum Democrats who needed the campaign contributions weren't going to do it. They had to go to the Supreme Court, and they won. So believe me, they're not magnanimous. You're run by mafia members. There's there's nothing that's done that isn't done because they were told to. Even the governor.
And she ended up working there. And I called to help. Because you help people in politics, and the guy's wife wants a job, I'll make a phone call. He didn't get it. She didn't get it because of me, but it didn't hurt to have the governor call and say,
Second Obama.
Just think about this. All the time in your life, your spouse, your cousin, your sister, brother, your kids needed a job. This is how the scum mafia gets a job. What are her qualifications, aside from making milk sour into yogurt by just looking at it? What are your qualifications, Bigfoot?
Gets elected. Michelle says, I want a job at one of two hospitals for between $200,000 and $300,000.
That's correct. Yeah, and she ended up working at the University of Chicago Hospital.
And it worked out because they handpicked CIA, handpicked Barack, Lolo Soetoro's stepson. Mother was a tramp. Ola went from Barack Sr. to Lolo Soetoro. Don't look nothing alike. I wonder what that was all about. But Barack, whew, he added $9 trillion to the debt. Most of it stolen, enriching America's enemies, domestic and foreign.
Works with a local partner, the Islamic relief agency ISRA. It gets $200,000 from USAID for humanitarian work on the ground, but it's not a simple aid organization. 10 years earlier, ISRA was designated a global terror entity by the administration of George W. Bush, blacklisting the whole global network of the Islamic Africa Relief Agency, aka the Islamic Relief.
Well, they're like stepbrothers. Well, man, Bush loved Barack. And USAID, that's a front. That's a front of the CIA. USAID, your ass. How much money we spend to people who hate us, not just domestically. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283. AM
560. The Answer.
I can't remember nothing, no. But the good time we used to share.
You could have got another Rolex, Teddy. Let the hooker take it. Big mistake. You know how distinguished that sexy son of a gun will be right now, Squirrel? That's why. That's why you tell the kid. Use your judgment. You don't let a hooker into the house. She's going to steal your Rolex, and you have to chase her in the Bentley and hit a tree. Next thing you know, Teddy Pendergrass, dead. When it comes to Kamala Harris, I like to set the tone.
He's a rogue, all right, notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle. Flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women, and fast cars.
She's the office whore. And Willie Brown was quite a scandal way back in the 70s and 80s, 90s. Willie Brown was the Mike Madigan of San Francisco. Set up all of the corruption you now get used to in California. It's a very interesting story about Kamala Harris. And as Willie Brown used to say, she's virtually useless with her clothes on.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it.
A no bad idea brainstorm is what she likes to call it. Now, how much did she blow on her? Let me rephrase that. How much money did she spend on her campaign? Was it $1.3 billion or $2 billion? How much did you spend? Oh, boy, this is going to get confusing.
And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College.
Oh, whoa. That's the only thing that prevents us from your ghettonomics, your ghettos that were once great cities, and your welfare roaches overwhelming the decent. I mean, we already have to pay for you, hornswogglers. Hornswoggler that you are. John, Nebraska.
Hi. Hey, you know, I was a union truck driver for 40 years, and every union company I worked for went out of business because the guys were so damn lazy. Anyway, but I wanted to tell you, I'm out here on the interstate now, pulling two trailers down the road, and you just about caused an accident with that comment, the Duchess of Chafington. I just about went off the road. That was so
She had an inner thigh rash she's had since the really late 70s. She can't get rid of it. Rose Law Firm is where she caught it, John. You know what's interesting? I started my whole life. My father, a union bricklayer, everybody in my family. And I'll never forget the first day. I'm all excited. You know, you're going to get the mud all wet. You're going to start working. And you're working your ass. And then all of a sudden, all the old union guys, whoa. Hey, kid, what's the hurry? You got to take it easy. We got to let this job last a little bit. Get the hell out of here with that. I agree with you, John. That's why you keep driving. Thanks for calling.
I drove into South Chicago there for 15 years. Yep. I don't miss it, so I do not miss it. Thank you, brother. Bye now.
Take care of yourself, and you stay out of the South Side. It's not like you remember. Joe, Orland Park.
Hey, Shaun, good evening. How you doing, buddy?
Good, babe. How are you?
Yeah, I just want to give a call, let you know that I thought that you were the hardest working person in radio until I've been listening a lot more with to AM 560 and Mike Scott. I mean, he's on in the morning on Dan Proft, and he's on in the wee hours of your show. I mean, what does that dude work like?
So
14,
he gets
hours
up
a day.
No, he really does. And I'm going to tell you something about Mike.
Crazy.
Joe, this whole thing with me, honestly, it's so. Sometimes I think about it, I can't get over it. Right? I'm just a caller. Just called in, and they were nice and gracious to me. And from day one in the studio, not only everybody was nice, but you know who was really very nice, and you know how you know somebody wants you to do really well is Mike Scott. He is the kindest. Yeah. The kindest guy, the smartest, just a great human being. I'm so glad to have him back. But Ixnay on the hard work because we want to keep him forever, all right? So just let him just work as hard as he wants, as long as he's there every news break for us. Thank you, Joe, for the call.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. And it's really something. See, there's a difference between news and people who understand what they're saying versus the morons who will say virtually anything, called Mockingbird media. After all, these are the morons that not only promoted the lies from the CIA since Vietnam, they promoted the lies of Barack Obama's entire legacy. But the idea that this failure and fraud would lower everyone's insurance premiums, $2,500 a year at that time, a year. You know what the premium was, Squirrel? I had the best $50 deductible Blue Cross Blue Shield. I was angry, too, paying $525 a year. I mean, a month, excuse me. $525 a month. Small business, working your ass off. You got to stroke the check more than your car payment. And you'd say, what the hell? I'm going to lower it $2,500. And you look into him. He was late on his own fracking car payment. Dummy. Not only that, it's now $4,700 a month. And what are the repercussions? He's an elder statesman. Really? I think you're just a traitor.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious.
And it stole 4 years from every American's life as that entity sat on the prima facie evidence of treason and corruption with Joe Biden and his crack-smoking, degenerate scumbag son's laptop. These are traitors. These are not Democrats. We'll be back.
I, Ben Huth, being of mostly sound mind.
What you doing?
I hereby bequeath the Cara dining table from Penny Mustard to my great-great-great-grandchild.
Really?
Our fine, sophisticated furniture is made of solid wood and lasts for generations, so I'm making sure everything's covered.
Not a bad idea, really.
The Cara table's timeless design will never go out of style.
Hereto and henceforth, my future descendant agrees to the following. They will refer to the table as Grandpa's masterpiece. The table hosts at least one awkward family meal per calendar year, and a strict no crayon rule must be enforced.
That's a bit extreme.
This concludes my last will entablement. Amen.
The Cara dining table, paired with 4 Rubio chairs, starting at just $152 a month with no interest and no payments till May of 2029 through May 31st at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Generational versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Town Hall News, where conservative voices cut through the noise from breaking headlines to fearless opinion. We report what matters without apology. Written by people who actually believe what you believe. Town Hall tells the stories the corporate press buries, from President Trump to Capitol Hill. From pivotal elections to your everyday lives, join the movement at townhall.com. Real stories, real reporters, real conservative media.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
Only a few short months ago, you heard silver was up 40%. Well, silver is now up over 260%. Fox Valley Coins saw it coming, and they're ready to help. Unlike dealers that only buy or only sell, Fox Valley Coins does both. No middleman. That means you get the best deal on the dollar. Selling, Fox Valley Coins pays top dollar for rare coins, scrap gold and silver, bars, proof sets, and entire collections of any size, going through every item right in front of you, cash, check, or wire transfer. Buying, Fox Valley Coins carries all major gold, silver, and platinum physical products. Complete discretion. Your business stays your business. Fox Valley Coins, family-owned integrity since 1981. On Route 59, one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Fox Valley Coins. Buy smart, sell smart.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Everyone's daily routine of news should include the Epoch Times, an essential outlet. Started and created by a former victim of Chinese communism. She made sure to hire the best people. My next guest is the senior investigative reporter and host of Crossroads at Epoch Times, award-winning journalist, documentary filmmaker. We're going to discuss so much with Joshua Phillip after Foxweiser News.
Back on U.S. soil, I'm John Saucier, Fox News. President Trump has returned from a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping where they talked about top issues, including trade and, of course, Iran. Fox's Alexandria Hoff in the White House breaking down the meeting and what came out of it.
He's coming home with a message that direct engagement with China is possible without having to give up any strategic leverage. On Air Force One, the president talked about what was gained preliminary agreements by President Xi for China to buy U.S. soybeans, U.S. energy exports, about 450 GE Aerospace engines and Boeing planes.
Over 200 planes from Boeing with a promise of 750 planes, which will be by far the largest order ever.
President Xi was most interested in talking about Taiwan. A $14 billion arms deal to Taiwan passed through Congress, but President Trump has yet to sign it. Now, on Iran, President Trump says his counterpart expressed frustration for the country effectively blocking the Strait of Hormuz, but that also he didn't pressure Xi to help end the conflict.
President Xi is expected to visit the United States in the fall. An Iraqi national, Mohammed al-Saadi, and his associates are accused of allegedly planning terrorist attacks across Europe and plotting attacks on Jewish institutions in the United States. This guy's been brought to New York to face federal terrorism charges. Fox's David Spunts in Washington reporting on what these attacks might have entailed if they were followed through on.
The plots include not only that synagogue in New York City, but other Jewish sites in the United States. Specifically, authorities say he provided Kataib Hezbollah with weapons, transportation, and personnel. The allegations go back to 2019. According to the criminal complaint unsealed, in early April this year, al-Saidi texted an undercover officer a photograph and a map of a prominent Jewish synagogue in New York City. He wanted a terrorist attack to take place there. The same story for two additional locations, Jewish centers in Los Angeles and one in Scottsdale, Arizona.
America is listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The Kennedy downtown out to O'Hare, a 50-minute ride. Edens remains 20, Montrose to Lake Cook Road. Eisenhower, it's an hour and 5. Post Office to 390, crash at Central on the side, and 55 north is solid 126 to 53 with an earlier accident. Edens 55 minutes out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Very heavy Ryan out to Pulaski with construction. Up on Ryan 30 minutes. On I-57, there's a stall going out near 119th, blocking the center lane. Also very heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State North car fire at Cicero, 2 right lanes. We're seeing an accident westbound Reagan at Route 59 and eastbound on the Reagan at Route 23. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a few isolated thunderstorms possible with a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night we'll see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Here he comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap!
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
And now, it's time for the Cat's Corner.
This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner. Well, I remember the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. What happened? We have too many politicians in Washington that know nothing about business. Why? We need more common sense in Washington. Whether we're talking about the federal government, state government, you need common sense. We need the balance of power in our government. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, professionals, business people, and blue-collar workers. And that's the only way we can come out with common sense. Putting on taxes and regulations without knowledge of what happens. Some of the states are not doing a good job. All they do is raise taxes. And then when they need more money, they tax the taxes. I mean, you got to laugh about it, but it's happening. We need people that have common sense, a balance of power in all our legislative functions to be able to operate our country, our states, our cities more efficiently. This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
It is an obligation you owe yourself to be informed. I'm still in awe that there are people in this country that cannot realize America has a Department of Agitation and Propaganda the same way East Germany did. It's quite simple. However, we also have free press. My next guest represents an outlet that is essential for you to monitor on a daily basis as I do. It is a fantastic, fantastic organization. The EpochTimes.com is where you can find Joshua Phillip. He's a senior investigative reporter and host of Crossroads at the Epoch Times, award-winning journalist and documentary filmmaker. And some of his work, The Real Story of January 6th, The Final War, The 100-Year Plot to Defeat America, tracking down the origins of Wuhan coronavirus. This is what he's worked on. All of the topics that our propaganda, called media, has been lying to us about and our government has been financing. Joshua Phillip, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. And never a shortage of news these days. That's one thing.
It's absolutely beautiful for us. I mean it. There are topics after topics after topics. I'm getting ready for you, and then all of a sudden, North Carolina, the billing for Medicare for autism up 47,000%, state audit. I mean, it's open and notorious policies created, constructed, and orchestrated by the 535 politicians to enrich the domestic enemies they swear to fight against. I see it no other way. At this point, you're talking $30 trillion since Barack Obama was staggering around the west side of Chicago looking for a ride. So you got a lot of stuff that's happened very, very fast. And really, it tracks back to China and the origins of the Epoch Times, fighting communism and the world growth of it.
Well, that is how we started, actually. So Epoch Times was started by Chinese dissidents. People who understood the threats of communism, who understood what it's like living under that tyranny, and who, a lot of them, you saw kind of the roots of it starting to grow here. And so, of course, our founder, a guy named John Tong, he was a witness to the Tiananmen Square massacre. One of the students came here, basically never wanted to look back. Come 1999, the Chinese Communist Party launched a persecution against a meditation practice called the Falun Gong, which is based in truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. CCP said it was a threat to the atheistic rule of the Communist Party, said destroy it, kill them, imprison them, and now we find the CCP's harvesting their organs. No media was telling the truth about this. Some media were even carrying the water for the CCP. And so Chinese Americans saw that and said, this is ridiculous. We need to create a news outlet that can create, honest news about China. And from there, we, of course, grew into everything else, J6, border crisis, fraud. We cover everything these days, of course.
Well, what's interesting is you said Chinese dissidents. We're dissidents, too. America was founded by dissidents of the monarchy. Right. And this is something that we lost. And the reason, in my opinion, we lost it is because Frank Snoep confessed to it when he was a CIA operative back in the early 70s. The permanent bureaucrats run this government. And to me, it's an illusion of a representative republic. And really the beauty of Trump and why we're inundated with the news is because they're in a panic mode, as I see it. For the first time since George Washington, you have somebody who was not cultivated outside of having to bribe some $2 alderman in Chicago or New York. You have somebody who wasn't cultivated in the understanding of if you want to exist, you'll shut your mouth and you'll put lipstick on the pig that is the permanent bureaucracy. And I think that what Trump and the blessing of him that he has exposed is in their panic, they're sloppy. They stole the election, extremely obvious. They colluded when he was even running, Barack Obama, with the CIA in undermining and creating the Russia hoax. And then the most obvious bioweapon ever financed for decades, or at least a decade, by the NIH and possibly at the direction of the CIA, called the Wuhan lab and COVID. So it really is beautiful how sloppy they've been, and I think it's target rich for you.
Well, that is kind of the irony of it all. I think there's a lot of people who didn't believe that anyone would ever expose what they're doing, and they've done a lot out in the open, frankly. I can tell you, researching Chinese spy networks, which I spent a lot of my career as an investigative journalist doing, some of them even have the names of spy branches on their business card. Like, they don't hide it at all. It's insane because nobody ever does anything about it. On the point of the U.S., I was investigating the border crisis a couple years back. I went down to the Darien Gap, Panama. I was in Mexico. I mean, how many people know that the border crisis was run through an agreement the U.S. and other countries, including Europe, have with the United Nations called the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration? The UN, through our signing onto that, runs it through various NGOs and through UN branches that were basically documenting everyone, helping them, paying them, everything. And it's not even secret. I mean, there's UN documents naming the organizations on budgets, everything, but no media has really reported on it. State Department, by the way, just this last week actually disclosed this finally publicly and said we're no longer part of it. But until now, most people never even heard this. And it was there, but they never tried covering the tracks of it or anything like that.
So I'm wondering if, the same thing broke this week about the optional practical training that nobody knew about, with the illusion of visas for education and given primarily to spies, specifically from China, but not exclusively, all financed by government. And it hid under the Joe Biden free tuition for everybody agenda, financed with tremendous amounts of money using NGOs, the same NGOs. And that's the other thing. It's really, I'm wondering if the plan is the Cloward Piven of scandal. If everything's a scandal, is anything a scandal? And when you go back 30 years, there was no talk of an NGO. Nobody spoke of this. NGOs and USAID, operating for many, many years, decades, 60s, was created to be this liaison of government-financed corruption. But I'm wondering if you think that the reason nobody talks about it is because they're overwhelmed with the information and they're demoralized, the way in which Yuri Bezmenov told us we would be. If you throw a little truth, you throw a little lie, before you know, people are disconnected. And now what is a scandal when nothing is a scandal? I mean, these are earth-shattering scandals for a guy who remembers Watergate. So it's really something to see.
Well, I mean, and that's a good point. At what point do you become numb? I've heard people say, if one person dies, it's a tragedy. It's a big story. If 1 million people die, it's a statistic.
Stalin.
People become numb when it becomes overwhelming. And I mean, case in point, when we find out that there's like $1 billion stolen here, $1 billion embezzled here, $1 billion in fake programs here, and then we hear $10 billion stolen through Medicaid fraud. Now you have J.D. Vance coming out and saying hundreds of billions of dollars are going to pay for, illegal immigrants, whether it be fraud or the other programs. And I feel like it's just we're so used to hearing now, like billion here, billion there, billion there. We're numb to it.
Yes.
Let alone the fact that we're paying the actually over now the equivalent of our entire defense budget just on interest on debt. It's so overwhelming that, it is nearing that stage where people just become numb.
Well, and you forget $1 billion, Joshua, and you know this, but $1 billion is 1,000 million dollars. Yet, the same people who orchestrate the billions and billions to be stolen tell you as an individual, if you make $1 million, you're bad. And, it's a fascinating psychological trick to get somebody to hate the principles of their country. And I think you do it exactly the way it's being done. You demoralize them while you strip them of the opportunity to be wealthy themselves. And just think about it. What does an NGO pay in taxes? Does anybody know? They don't pay any taxes. Nothing. They pay nothing. There are no taxes. There are no IRS liens against the operators of the NGOs who make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year. And here me and you are. You get your check on Friday. You got 50% gone. If you're really good at making money, you got 50% gone in the air. 30% if you're okay at making money, 40% if you're on your way, and you never get to the point where you can be wealthy, and yet we talk about $1,000 million like it's slippage. And that's the misinformation campaign that allows a great country built on the idea that they represent us, don't rule us. And before you know it, you're harmless. What can we do? What can we do? And I think that people miss, too, there are some arrests being made. There was an arrest in Pittsburgh. There's an arrest in New York. There's an arrest in California where the sitting mayor pled guilty to being an asset to the Chinese Communist Party. This is earth-shattering news, isn't it?
It should have been the biggest story in the country. That's another thing, though. I mean, I feel like there's so many big stories now that we're also kind of becoming numb to it. One right alongside that, actually, that was the mayor of Arcadia. I believe it was Eileen Wong. Yeah, pled guilty to being effectively a spy of the Chinese Communist Party. She had built a website to run propaganda for the CCP, and she was denying there were human rights abuses in China. I mean, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right alongside that, one of the guys who was running in Chinese National or Chinese American, based out of New York, was running one of these secret Chinese police stations. He just got found guilty, actually, for running that. And that should have been one of the biggest stories in the U.S. China has police stations in America.
It was. I believe you guys broke it, if I'm not mistaken. I know you ran with it. I know it was a story on Epoch Times, but that was a big story in California. And I would never correct you, Joshua, and I don't mean to, but I never forget a Wang. Her name is Wang. And the reason I know that is it's similar to Fang Fang, who was stooping a congressman. I mean, it's almost surreal. And, you know, in Chicago in the 80s, they have this short in the pants Irish mafia run by the Daley family at the time. And you would see these Chinese. I used to work at the Mercantile Exchange, which was a capital of industry, or capitalism, you know, and they would bring the diplomats down, and you get to meet everybody. And then all of a sudden you'd see these dailies, and I couldn't stand the dailies. And you would see all these Chinese. Oh, what are they here for? They're investors. Well, communism is going to invest in America? How does that work? And what it really does is it cultivates the old-fashioned Chicago Democrat mafia pay-to-play scheme, and you turn gangsters into traders. And they've been operating this for 40 years. So you see how successful they've been when you can normalize a Chinese spy who looks like a rake, by the way. And I like some Chinese women, but that one is particularly ugly. And she was stooping the congressman, and he was reelected 3 times after it. So there's not enough people reading the Epoch Times. What do you suggest we do? Should we airdrop it?
Read the Epoch Times. Yeah, and yeah, to the point, too, the secret Chinese police stations. I've been covering the networks they run through since 2008. In fact, some of the first government reports, it's called the United Front. Some of the first government reports on were based on my articles pretty heavily. So the way the secret Chinese police stations work is they run through the United Front networks. Jamestown Foundation just said there's at least 1,000 United Front networks of the CCP institutions in the United States alone.
1,000.
And the secret 1,000. And the secret police stations, they're run by the Ministry of Public Security as like an actual policing program on American soil.
It's fascinating to think that isn't the lead on every news every night. But the other thing, too, Joshua, that I find fascinating is, what was it in the 90s in California when they ran what would be a scandal, or was at the time, the birthing motels and the birthing complexes. So you're talking estimates. I'm in the middle or towards the end of the Peter Schweitzer book. There could be 1.4 million Chinese communists who were born in America, each one of them entitled to our Social Security, each one of them entitled to our social benefits. In fact, this whole problem with China's economy, it might be that they could just put 1 million people on a plane, have them come here and start to claim our benefits, couldn't it? Couldn't that be the case?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Peter Schweizer did a great book on that, talking about how, I mean, they used to do a lot of those out of California. I remember some of the birth hotels they had, and they work as kind of like romantic getaways where you go have your kid and there's aftercare, and, they're in California, actually.
Yes.
The one that Peter Schweizer warned about was out of Saipan, closer to China and American territory out there. Chinese coming in there, they have a full service for it, have their kids go back, the kid's an American citizen, and like you said, they can collect benefits, welfare, everything. They can vote in our elections, everything. I'll actually tell you something even crazier, though. Did you know that if a Chinese national, not even a citizen, or anybody, an Indian national, anybody, Chinese national, though, if they buy a house in the United States, and a lot of them are doing it because they're trying to get their money out of China, they're counted on the census?
I knew it was possible, but here's what I know about it. I'm actually a real estate broker practicing, but I do it in Florida.
Hey, look at that.
And
look at that.
4 years ago, in the middle of COVID, Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in Florida, led by the state house at the time is led by a guy who's now running, named Paul.
I can't think of his last name, Tenner, I think, right? I had him on my show. Paul Renner. And they passed it real quick, and Chinese nationals, and I don't know how they did it, cannot buy real estate in Florida without a thorough investigation of the city and county and the state to make sure that they are not fronts for the Chinese Communist Party. It's like the only state that did it. And it's a fascinating thing because it went by, just like you say, real quiet. And that's why so many of them bought those investments I'm speaking of in the 80s. Most of them are buildings where they can sell individual condos to individual Chinese. And there you got the perfect scheme. You don't even have to really do anything other than record the title. You could quick claim deed a condo. And ta-da, you're a property owner, aren't you?
And there you go. Yeah, it's simple, huh? It's actually shocking that we're finding out the degree of scams that are being run. And actually, on the point of real estate, people are probably wondering about farmland and such like that, too. It's interesting how Congress is trying to crack down on that on a broader scale. I mean, Florida's doing great on their end, but, for the rest of the country, it's still pretty rough. Congress is trying to make it so that all the Chinese, purchases of farmland have to be cleared.
And what's fascinating is the subsidies attached to farmland. So they say, well, the Chinese are buying farmland. They must have nefarious plans for our food. No. They buy farmland to become multimillionaires. All they have to do is own it. And you get a tremendous amount of subsidies. You're paid not to improve it. You're paid not to plant. So once again, we're hoisted by our own policies, and they're sold in the form of generosity to the farmers. Well, Chinese communists aren't farmers. They don't plan to be. They just plan on a financial crime on American policy. And, it's fascinating when you talk about immigration. 8 pathways. 2 have to do with birth or relatives. So the Chinese already have those 2. 6 have to do with a variety of different ways that the Chinese have mastered through property transfers, renting, birthing hotels. And all these politicians, you could go back throughout time, we need comprehensive immigration reform. We don't need any of that. We need strict rules and strict enforcement. That's what we need, isn't it?
We do. And as you mentioned, there are other pathways most people don't even talk about. I can tell you another big one is the military. I've actually talked to people who work in security about this. They said that a lot of people don't know this. If you come here legally, maybe on a visa or whatever else, you're allowed to, if you're not an American citizen, join the U.S. military, and you can become a citizen through service. The problem we have, and I know that there were people working in U.S. security raising some flags about this, you have lines out the door, at least a few years back I was told, of Chinese signing up to join the U.S. military. And they're worried that effectively our military is being infiltrated by spies.
Boy, that's aggravating. And, there was an expose about gangbangers doing it. Gangbangers doing it in Central and South America. And that's the other part that needs to be...
The cartels do it for training, yeah.
Exactly. And the other part that needs to be talked about is the connection between the Chinese communists and the cartels in Central America and the Islamo-Nazis in the Middle East. I can't help but notice there is a massive cooperation between those who are very religious, working with the Chinese communists who make it a law so you can't have religion, with the cartels that have destroyed Central and South America. So it really is, we are the enemy of all, and they all agree to work together to take us down, isn't it?
Well, it goes even deeper than that. The drug trade, or the drug war as we know it today, was actually established by Mao Zedong. There's a great book on this. There's not a lot of people who know about it. There's a book called Red Cocaine. It's by a guy named Joseph Douglas. And it explains how Mao Zedong, as a way of waging war against the United States, basically modeled something after the Opium War against the last dynasty of China.
100 years of shame, right?
Which led to the collapse of the last dynasty. It destroyed the country. And what he did was he ran it through Cuban intelligence networks, and the Cubans actually established the cartels. A lot of the cartels, the early ones at least, were narco-terrorists, and a lot of them were Maoist trained. They were actually trained in China. To this day, the CCP provides not just fentanyl, they provide almost all the synthetic drugs, almost all the precursors for drugs, even like methamphetamine. It's based on Chinese precursors, and they do the money laundering for most of the cartels.
Well, I can't help but notice when Karen Bass was revealed not just to be a communist, but she was also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. They all are working and operating, which is why in these Democrat enclaves, these mafia areas, who is the focus on of the government? On the drug addict, on the welfare, on the recipient. Karen Bass now wants to throw in dental for the meth heads, which you tell me that God doesn't have this, or didn't give Don Rickles his sense of humor. I absolutely love it. But it all traces back to the plan of 100 years of shame to destroy America from within, the same way China had lost its dynasty through drug addicts and the worthless being protected by government. That's exactly what we're living through, isn't it, Joshua?
It is. And, a lot of people talk about, you mentioned Yuri Bezmenov, talked about demoralization, basically infiltrating the institutions, rendering them non-functional, then corrupting them, then making it so that it gets so bad people demand change to the point where they even accept communism or some type of totalitarianism. The method the CCP is using is not necessarily, people say Sun Tzu. It's actually close to Machiavelli. It's a lot closer to Machiavellianism, which is creation of a mafia state. And you can think of it like this. Think of the cartels. Think of the way Latin America works. Think of it where you can't even get into government. If you say you're going to go after the criminals, they kill you. You have to play ball or they kill you. If a country is controlled by corruption, whoever controls the corruption controls the country. That's Machiavelli tactics for controlling a nation.
It really is. And you know what's funny, Joshua? I have a fan of the show for years. She's a lovely, lovely woman. Lived in the in Poland during the Soviet Union and had to live under that. And she's a teacher. And she went to China after she had retired for the class. They told her to take these kids and go there. And she brought me back the Little Red Book. I have it in the studio here. And every American should at least have one to look at it, so they recognize when you hear a Democrat talk of the policy, it's out of the Little Red Book. The American Democrat is espousing policies that are in Mao Zedong's handbook on communism and the destruction of what this country is, built on the individual. It is about the collective. And from every single one of them, the inside trading whores like Ro Khanna, all the way to the freak shows of Hakeem Jeffries, every policy is out of this red book. And that's why we've been subverted from within. There's no question, in my mind. Is there in yours?
You're spot on. The modern far left is using Maoist tactics. And this isn't even by accident. We're hearing now this Chinese-based millionaire, I believe is Indian actually, Neville Roy Singham. He's based out of Shanghai. He's the big money behind Code Pink. He's the big money behind the Party of Liberation and Socialism. He's the big money behind the mass protests on American streets. There's another organization that nobody's really talking about yet, but they're actually one of the larger grassroots organizations and one of the more politically active, also with ties to China. They're called the Rainbow Coalition.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're actually using Maoist tactics, just like you said. And this is how it works. Mao Zedong said that basically individually you can't run a revolution with one little group. And so, you have the majority they're trying to go after. He talked about basically joining together the quote-unquote minorities in order to create a majority that can then be used as a tool for the revolution. And if you look at the identity politics, the race politics, everything, that's what they're doing. They're trying to unite different smaller camps and then growing them through mass illegal immigration, other tactics, in order to create unified narratives that join these people into kind of a revolutionary mindset. It's basically, like you said, it's a pure Maoist tactic. It's exactly what they're doing.
That's why, Joshua, I'm going to be working on the Florida-Georgia wall. I think we need to put one up, and we need to keep out the rest of these idiots. But in the meantime, when I want any information, it's the epochtimes.com. Joshua, I cannot thank you enough. I've so appreciated your documentaries. By the way, can I say, since you've gone into it, I've only got till 2020. Every single one. Exactly spot on. You're vindicated and validated every single day. This is absolutely fantastic. This is as good as your ex-wife marrying a drunk truck driver who beats her up on the weekends. I love it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua, for making time. I appreciate it. We'll take your calls and comments as soon as we get back.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. In an age of fleeting stories fed by a constant conveyor belt of crisis and frenzy, keeping all of us in a common state of agitation with little ability to focus on the meaningful, let us do exactly that as we prepare for Memorial Day coming up in another weekend. The great historian Wilfred McClay once wrote, quote, "Without memory and without the stories by which our memories are carried forward, we cannot say who or what we are. Without them, our life and thought dissolve into a meaningless, unrelated rush of events," close quote. The commemoration of those who, in the words of James Garfield, made immortal their patriotism and their virtue in defending this country, gave us the greatest lessons in who and what we are, and with the greatest of meaning. Who and what we are matters. Thus, the memory of them and what they did for us matters. They are antidotes to meaninglessness. We can celebrate 250 years of our country's life because of those we reflect on this Memorial Day. Thank God for these heroes. I'm Seth Leipzig.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire? Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence. Learn principles of income planning. There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring. Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560. The Answer.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
So it's that time of year again for our annual golf outing. Now, I sold right away. Why not? Boom, sold. Proft sold today. Took a little longer. I think John Anthony, I don't know if he's available. He might be, but I heard there was some bidding activity. Amy Jacobson, she's available. Last year, I think we had the offer that she cleans your house as well. Jeannie Ives, available, so we can play golf with you. I play in the morning. Proft will play in the afternoon. It's an incredible day. So much fun. It's not just the golf. It's that the portion of the proceeds goes to Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Frank is going to be there right from Washington. They fly Frank in. Great guy. He was working on September 11th as a fire captain in New York. Fantastic. Sponsored, as always, in part by Signature Bank. Great organization. And McRae Memorial Golf Club, June 15th. So go there, check it out. It is so much fun. We have foursomes, twosomes, and if you own or operate a business and you buy a foursome for your company, we here at AM 560, because a portion goes to Tunnel to Towers Foundation, and we give you 25 one-minute commercials to air right here, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 5 in the morning, 8 in the evening. It's a great time. You get to meet our advertisers, and you get to see how we do. See, our little family, we're who makes the world go around. We're the ones who go to work. We bust our ass, and we want to know where to give our money, because I never want to give my money to a Democrat, no matter what they are. Doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. I only want to deal with us.
Check it all out for yourself. 560theanswer.com/golf, sponsored in part by real estate broker Ed Dring. I got to meet Ed. Online at leaving-i-l.com. See what he did there, Squirrel? It's not quite Run to Florida. However, it's very good. Online at leaving-i-l.com. Real estate broker Ed Dring. When we get back, Mike in Dyer, Indiana, you're definitely going to lead off. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate. I'm watching Chinese robots on TV. I think we can kick their ass. Let's see what happens. That'll be after news with Mike Scott.
Thank you, Shaun. The thunderstorm overnight and a warmer Saturday ahead with a high near 80. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. President Trump returning to Washington after visiting China this week, telling Fox News China would buy 200 planes from an American manufacturer.
It was sort of like a statement, but I think it was a commitment.
And Trump believes progress was made on trade.
One thing I think that we're going to make a deal on, they've agreed they want to buy oil from the United States.
After the meeting, the president says China wants the Strait of Hormuz open as soon as possible. 3 were killed and 2 others were critically injured in a Northwest Indiana crash Friday morning. Holbert Fire responded to the crash involving a car and semi on southbound I-65. A veteran Chicago firefighter is dead, badly hurt during a training exercise. Stephen Decker was injured while training Thursday in the 6600 block of North Kedzie. Cubs and White Sox tonight. The news a service of Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Your next news update comes your way at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Now in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchak.
Edens, it's 17 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook Road, heavy inbound at 40 minutes. Kennedy 40 downtown out to the airport. And the Eisenhower 35 to Wolf Road, but an hour and 15 to 390. Crash at 355 on the side. Stevenson outbound side, that is jammed as well. That travel time 50 minutes out to 355, solid in the roadwork zone between the Ryan and Pulaski. 30 minutes outbound Ryan, we have White Sox Cubs traffic taking place there. Skyway solid westbound 87th to Stony Island with roadwork. Car fire, Tri-State, northbound at Cicero, and a crash at 159th in the left lane. Also eastbound Reagan, a crash at Route 23. Traffic is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. See Marvin Products in their beautiful showroom at the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle, or visit woodlandwindows.com for a free in-home expert consultation. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a chance of widely separated thunderstorms and a low of 62. Saturday will be warmer with a mix of clouds and sunshine, possibly interrupted by a thunderstorm in some areas during the afternoon, reaching a high of 83. Saturday night will see clouds on the rise with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The use of repeating the bombing, you did it for 38 days. No, we did, and you did not get the political changes in Iran. No, I had a total military victory, but the fake news, guys like you write incorrectly. You're a fake guy, and guys like you write about it incorrectly. We had a total military victory. We knocked out their entire Navy. We knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out all of their anti-aircraft weaponry. We knocked out all of their radar. We knocked out all of their leaders, number one, and then we knocked out all of their leaders in the 2nd Division, and we knocked out numerous of their leaders in the 3rd Division, and they're very confused. We've had a total victory, except by people like you that don't write the truth. You know, you should write. I actually think it's sort of treasonous what you write, but you...
It's absolutely treasonous. The New York Times is a propaganda outlet meant to induce a certain feeling of malaise rather than celebrate the success of which we have been celebrating, not just in the stock market, but in everything, in every area. And when you talk of inflation, maybe it's because the two scum Democrats, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, together put what, 30 trillion? Take out Trump's last year of his first term, which was all that PPP COVID money. All that money that was stolen by criminal entities.
Newly obtained Biden-Harris administration email suggests COVID-era loans to Planned Parenthood were discussed under a code word, Benghazi. Small Business Committee Chair Joni Ernst says the label may have been used to evade oversight. What's happening here? Alexandria Hoff.
That's treason perpetrated by the office whore and wrinkled ass and low balls Joe. Mike in Dyer, Indiana.
Hey, Shaun. Back in June of 1978, when the FBI was a legitimate law enforcement agency along with the CIA, my platoon going through boot camp, we had 2 Russian defectors and 1 North Korean defector. Right. And they were going through boot camp with us. They had been vetted, turned inside out, all sorts of stuff before they showed up, like 9 months' work. They were promised if they did 4 years active duty and got an honorable discharge, no trouble, no nothing, they would be given the opportunity to take a citizenship test.
Yeah.
They could not have any type of classified job, and they were pretty much restricted to infantry units, being a grunt, carrying a rifle. So I don't know what's going on now, but I about got floored when you said it's a pathway to citizenship, because it was earned in 1978. It was not given. It was earned.
But I will tell you, Mike, think about just a little bit of what you said about 78 with the CIA and the FBI. The CIA had orchestrated and perpetrated the fraud that was Vietnam. That Frank Snepp clip I played you is from 77, where he confesses after realizing 58,200 Americans killed, 300,000 wounded. He to the day he died, he was in remorse. And then when you think about the FBI, or as it was known in Melrose Park in 1978, forever bothering Italians, they had a long checkered history. This is the problem, though, Mike. They take our patriotism and they use the flag to blindfold us. When you look back and you trace back, there's a fantastic book, I don't know if you've ever read it, called Operation Gladio. And it talks about after World War II, what the CIA had become. It was a criminal entity almost immediately, Mike. I'm sorry. That's not saying there aren't good people. Of course there are. People who are like me, and right? Me, all my life, you watch the propaganda of the FBI. Wow, these guys are great. Look at these guys. They got their just the facts, man. We watched all that same stuff. I believed it hook, line, and sinker. But it is propaganda. Right? And the idea that they are the forever bureaucracy, and you trace back old man Bush, you want to talk about a scallywag. I'll tell you what, they better put a urinal cake on his tombstone if I ever find out where he's buried. Because that son of a gun links back to every scandal from when he was a young man. And you know what always bothered me about that old man? Kenny Bunkport, Maine, with his little Izod sweater on, all tied up. How the frack does he become an oil man? I'm dead serious about that. How did he become an oil man after World War II? He was a fighter pilot, no question about it. How did he become an oil man? And you look at the history of that oil company, and you look at the insanity of handouts of hundreds of millions of dollars, and look at the boats that were used in the Bay of Pigs. They were his boats. He's a scumbag, Mike. Scumbag fraud. Yeah. And he got a lot of Americans killed. And you want to know something? The CIA has been in the drug-dealing business for years, too. I don't care. Rip that son of a gun down on behalf of all the decent people in the country, Mike. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you. Why are we not friends, Mr. CIA man? Right here. I see you for the scourge hour. We'll be back.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
For 25 years, Applied Mechanical Sales has kept Chicago's commercial buildings warm and running smoothly. From schools and churches to high-rises and hotels, they provide the boilers, water heaters, and exhaust systems that contractors and engineers count on. Whether it's a replacement project or a new construction, Applied Mechanical helps you select the right equipment, standard or high efficiency, for your specific application. What sets them apart? They match the right Camas equipment to your building's exact needs, so it performs flawlessly through Chicago winters for the next 15 to 20 years. And they don't disappear after installation. Applied Mechanical ensures your systems run at peak efficiency year after year. Are you a degreed mechanical engineer looking to lead a growing sales team? They'd love to talk to you. Schedule a site visit and boiler assessment at AppliedMechanicalSales.com. That's AppliedMechanicalSales.com.
Stuck in Illinois? Between the taxes, the politics, the weather, it's exhausting. But leaving isn't as simple as packing up and going. That's where LeavingIL.com comes in. We help you create a smart step-by-step plan so you don't make the wrong move at the wrong time. Start with our quick exit readiness assessment today. Go to LeavingIL.com. That's LeavingIL.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
Why would you take your precious metal collections to some fly-by-night roadshow that rolls into town once a year? The only thing you need to do is follow the road to Fox Valley Coins and show your gold or silver to the team. Gold is at an all-time historical high, so don't keep sitting on your coin hoards or old jewelry that you've been saving to sell when the time is right. The time is right now. Prices have never been better on most collector and gold coins. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is trying to keep up with demand. So they're paying the most ever on not only most gold coins in bars, but also those old coin collections. You might have scarce dates or higher grade coins, so take advantage of the record high market price and the demand now. Whether you're buying or selling, or just want to find out values, trust the team at Fox Valley Coins. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
A revolution in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence obsolete. 3 companies are quietly building a $1 trillion triangle to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Investment guru George Gilder has his finger on the 3 companies whose technology could change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Кабас колбасит соло, колбасер по пояс голый.
You know, it's funny. I have always known that Barack Obama was an asset of the CIA, just on his own legacy and this idea he's from Chicago. He doesn't know Chicago from his ass. Chicago. Grew up in Indonesia, you frickin' rat. Lolo Soetoro, CIA asset of old man Bush. He's a traitor.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history.
And foreign policy he used as an excuse to enrich our enemies. Not just the Sudan, but Iran. And Donald Trump kicked their ass over and over again. He kicked their ass in his first term.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. He was whimpering, screaming, and crying. And frankly, I think it's something that should be brought out so that his followers and all.
From Bill Clinton, who never went near the Duchess of Chafington, especially in a nightgown.
The only woman that was safe in Washington, D.C., Hillary. Hillary, Barack, the office tramp, Hornswoggler Harris, wrinkled ass and old balls Joe, talked about Iran.
If I gave you just a couple of examples, the defense industrial base for their drones and their missiles and their Navy were degraded by 90%. They have about 10% left. For the Navy, my military assessment would be that the Navy will not begin to rebuild for 5 to 10 years.
Excellent! And yet you're inundated to be in a malaise, everything's bad. Only losers, Democrats, are the ones that don't think we're winning. We are winning on every front. And it's due specifically to so much of our military. And that's why it's Armed Forces Day tomorrow. And we had a big loss. We had a big loss a couple times. It's not even a year Charlie's gone. So I want to end it the way I want to end it. I want you to have a good weekend. And if you're in Chicago, nobody's celebrating. You get the hell out of the way. They're killing each other. Low-living Democrats. You stay safe. Rich, in Hyde Park.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing today?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Shaun, what I want to do is I want to wish everybody, all the listeners, happy St. Patrick's Day. And then I would like to ask them to say a prayer for Mike Altman, who lost his battle with his injuries that he received in fighting a fire, and to say a prayer for his wife, his children, and his family. Thanks, Shaun. Have a good day.
You too, brother. You too. Very nice of you.
What President Trump is doing is, number one, people voted for tariffs to bring jobs back to this country. Number two, he's using this as a negotiating tactic to be able to bring countries to the table so that they will buy more of our goods and services. How does this impact Wyoming? You guys have a lot of LNG in this state, right? Got a lot of liquefied natural gas. You should be able to sell Wyoming LNG to Japan and to Europe without any tariff, and they should buy Wyoming LNG, not Iranian oil or gas. That's what the tariffs are actually going to allow us to do. They're a negotiation tool to be able to bring people to the table. I think we're going to get phenomenal deals out of this. The tariffs are a message and a signal that we want to be a self-sufficient country and that we will not be a vassal state to the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Business owners, now's the time for your business to make the move to a locally owned business bank. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that you don't have to look far. Signature Bank was founded in Chicago with a simple mission: to help companies like yours grow, succeed, and thrive. Their decisions are made locally by a terrific team that knows your name, cares about your business,